Good afternoon, everybody. This is Yoshi Shiraki, and this is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. You are listening to K-Talk Radio 1640 AM, and today we have our very special guest, Jeff Braylio, who is not only my friend, but he's also my real estate attorney. He's also been a real estate partner, very knowledgeable real estate investor, but also a very successful athlete. I know this because we know each other on a personal level. And so one of the things that I wanted to do today was bring Jeff in to talk about how he so successfully, repeatedly, over and over and over can hit his goals that he sets for himself. He's done Ironman, numerous marathon, he's a swimmer, avid swimmer. Jeff, tell us a little bit about your athletic life. You will probably do a better job than me.
Well, I was always into sports, always athletic. Played a number of sports from tennis and volleyball, football, soccer, baseball growing up. Mostly for fun. You know, I really enjoyed sports, really enjoyed being active. I'm just one of those guys that likes to sweat. So having a good hard workout and feeling like I've exerted myself is always sort of an encouraging feeling. And then, you know, when I got to be an adult and after college, you know, unless you're a professional athlete, there's not a lot out there. There are some adult leagues and stuff like that, but I started to pick up running. I was actually in college.
Very cool.
And I was out jogging because I was a jogger.
Okay.
Jogger runner in junior high school.
Yeah.
Like I was one of those rare kids that just went out and ran 3 miles on an afternoon because I was bored.
Yeah.
So I was out running and I ran into a friend of mine and he was out jogging too.
Okay.
And so we stopped and we were just talking because we were friends and we ran into each other and he's like, hey, I'm going to go do a half marathon in about 6 weeks. He said, you should come do it with me. I'm like, a half marathon? Isn't that like 13 miles?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. He's like, you could do it. I'm like, and he asked how long, you know, my longest distance that I've been running. I said, well, you know, I run 8-9 miles.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure that I could, you know, do it. But I'd never run a race. Certainly not a half marathon.
Right.
It was down in Moab. It was the Moab Half Marathon.
Oh, wow.
And it's in February. So it's in the middle of winter.
Okay.
So not like prime running season.
Yeah.
When I became much more dedicated, I ran all winter long. But yeah, so I just said, sure. And I signed up that day.
Wow.
And decided that, hey, I'm going to go run a half marathon.
That's amazing.
And I did, and I finished. And I think I even placed.
Wow.
If I remember correctly. It was one of those bizarre things. I'm like, I just ran a half marathon. I think I got a ribbon.
That is incredible. That's amazing. You know, I actually heard through a gentleman who's an avid runner, competitive. He says the human body's capable of tripling what it normally does. So if you run 3 miles regularly, not comfortably, but you're capable of doing 9. Right? So if you were doing 8 or 9, you could have even ran a marathon. Maybe not comfortably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, and we're talking goal setting today, but you know, sort of the goal setting is, as far as athletics are concerned, it's kind of the same thing. It's very much mental. It's almost more mental than it is physical.
Right.
It's what you believe you can do.
Right.
And once I got that, you know, I just jumped in a half marathon and finished it.
Wow.
Then my brain knew, like, oh, this is something you can do.
Yes.
And I did it on a whim, so it wasn't like I made this big, huge goal and planned and prepared. It was like spur of the moment, jump in a race, but it really kind of, I caught the running bug.
Yep.
And mentally, I'm like, hey, if I can just jump in a half marathon, there are other things that I can do with running, and maybe I should actually start focusing to set some goals.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, awesome. So yes, you're good at hitting your goals. Now we're going to switch gears from sports to business, real estate in general. Specific. This is a real estate show, Utah Home Sweet Home. I happen to have, I sat on the board of the Salt Lake Real Estate Investing Association for 5 years. I'm currently the vice president of the Utah Valley Real Estate Investing Association. And so I talk to a lot of newer investors, people who are just getting started, and we'll discuss what it is that they want to do. I'm like, do you want to flip houses? Do you want to buy rental properties? Some of them want to, have their first investment as a fourplex. Some of them just want a fourplex and call it a day and they'll be done.
Right.
But then you talk to these people 12 months, 13, 14, 15 months later, they haven't done a thing. They haven't done a thing. And that I would say that's probably 80%.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a huge percentage of people that will set these bigger goals and then struggle with being able to achieve it. And I should say not even achieve it, but they struggle with even consistently pursuing it. At some point, they just stop pursuing it.
Right.
It's still a goal, but it's not being
pursued. They never
pursued.
achieved anything.
Correct.
And they lose the confidence, they lose the faith, and
exactly
the desire because they haven't achieved anything.
Right. So, what would you say is kind of some ideas, secrets, tips? Maybe is a better word. Maybe they are secrets.
Oh yeah, very valuable secrets.
Yes, that you've never shared anywhere but on here.
That's right. Your listeners only.
Yes.
World premiere.
Right. I was reading a buddy of mine. He's a fitness trainer, and he's saying already at January 24th, most of his clients that signed up to get in shape for their New Year's resolution are already starting to not come consistently, right?
Oh, I totally believe it. I saw a post on Facebook today from somebody that said, "Hey, it's only end of January, and the parking lot is half as full as it was 3 weeks ago."
At the gym.
At the gym.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So the gym, they lasted 3 weeks, and now all those New Year's resolutions are dead.
Right. Yeah, because getting in shape is such a slow process. You almost feel like you're not achieving anything, so it's easy to quit, right?
Right.
So what do you do, if you don't mind me, that keeps you motivated, keeps you on track?
It's going to depend on the kind of goal.
Okay.
I think the first step really in goal setting is setting the right goal.
Okay.
And that, I think, is where most people just don't get it.
Got it.
They set tasks, not actual goals.
Got it.
And so to set an actual goal, it should be something not that you have to do, but something you want to achieve.
Okay.
And that's the big difference. For example, everyone sets a goal. I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week this year.
Yeah.
Right? And it lasts 3 weeks.
Right.
Going to the gym is not a goal.
Got it.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's a step to achieve something else.
Right.
So you've got to be constantly asking yourself, why? Why did you set this particular thing? So why did you set the goal of going to the gym 3 times a week?
Right.
What's the point?
Right.
Okay, well, I want to get in better shape.
Yeah.
Why do you want to get in better shape?
Right.
Well, I'll be healthier, and great. Why do you want to be healthier?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I want to run a marathon.
Right.
And so you can keep going. There's never an end. That's kind of, every time you ask yourself why, you're always going to come up with another step, another answer, and you're never going to get to the end of that.
Yep.
But if you go through that process and you continually ask yourself why, you might get to the real achievable result that you actually do want.
Right.
I'm worried about my health. Maybe diabetes runs in my family.
Sure.
And I've got to lose the weight.
That makes sense.
Well, why do you want to lose the weight? Well, I don't want to get diabetes. Why don't you want to get diabetes? So I can be around my children.
Right.
For the rest of my life.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now we're getting to something that's more important to you. And a lot of people say, it's your why.
Yep.
It's not always about what you do, it's why you do it. What's your why behind all of these things that you do? And that's what asking that question gets you to.
That makes sense. I think his name is Ed Milet, if I'm not mistaken. He tells a story where went to the doctor and the doctor discovered heart problems, and he had high cholesterol, blockage in his arteries, and the doctor said, you need to go into surgery and you need to start working out. And of course this is a shock to Ed, and he's like, how bad is it? And he says, well, let me ask you this. Do you have any kids? And he says, I've got a daughter. How old is that daughter? She's like, well, she's 4. All right, well, in about 20 years, if you don't get into shape, there's going to be another man walking her down the aisle. What do you think of that? And he was like, holy crap. He's like, really? He's like, really? So that was his why, is he wanted to be around so that he could walk his daughter down the aisle. And be at her wedding, opposed to him being gone.
Which has nothing to do with his health condition.
Yeah, which has nothing to do with his health condition. He didn't want to get into shape. He wanted to be around for his daughter.
Right.
So that makes so much sense. Is what is your why? I have a friend who talks about what is your why, and people will say like, I want to flip a house. Well, why?
Why?
And it's like, well, because I want the money. Well, what do you do with the money once it's in your hand? Do you play with it? Do you fold it, origami?
And then you put it in your pillow so you can sleep on it?
Right. And the reality is none of us really want the money. It's what the money can do for us, right? And so by just wanting the money isn't strong enough for us to take action. It's the fact that I want to put my kid through college, maybe.
Right.
That's more important to me than just making...
Take the family on a vacation.
Yes, spending the quality time. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that makes sense. So we now have determined that it's important and critical to know what your why is and to be as specific as possible, right? It's not about the money.
Yeah, super specific. And if you can set a goal in 8 seconds where you just hey, I'm gonna do this year.
Yeah.
That's not a goal, and you're not going to achieve it.
Right.
You've got to spend a lot of time
Yes.
actually thinking about it and going deeper as to why and why and why. If you spend even days or weeks mulling this over and thinking about it to find out what's truly important about what you're trying to achieve,
Yep.
you're going to get to the right goal.
Right.
A lot of personal coaches and business coaches, Tony Robbins uses the peak state.
Yes.
So what that means is just getting your body and mind into a position where you're thinking clearly and you're thinking from your heart, not your head. So thinking from what really motivates you, what really you're passionate about, and not just because everybody in their head's like, oh, I got to go to the gym this year, right?
Right.
And lose weight so I can look sexy in the summer.
Right.
And that's just and nobody makes those goals. They just don't fulfill them because it's what everybody does. It's just something off the top of your head. It's very flippant.
Yeah.
And you've got to dig deeper to decide, because if that's not truly your what you want to achieve, of course you're not going to get it.
Right. Exactly.
But if you can find what you really want to achieve, what your heart really desires,
Sure.
then there's going to be that motivation, that why, that's going to keep you going after you've set the goal.
Yeah.
So you've got to get yourself into a position, whatever that means for you. And there's a lot of ways to get to that mental, physical point.
Yeah.
Some people will meditate.
Yeah.
I used to do it on my runs. It's one of the reasons I ran.
Really?
Oh yes, running is an amazing time to think.
Huh?
Because you're out. I've really never run with headphones or an iPod or music. Yeah, it's weird. I ran at the height. I would run about 32 miles.
Oh my gosh.
I did that about 3 times a year as my sort of one big push.
Holy cow.
Kind of in preparation for different races.
Yeah.
And that's about a 4-hour run.
For you.
For me, yeah.
For me, it's a 4-day run.
And these days, for me, it'd be a 4-day run now. I have different goals now.
Right.
But, 15 years ago, that was about a 4-hour. And I did it by myself because no one else wants to run. Who am I going to get to join me in a 32-mile run?
Yeah,
Not a lot of people.
Exactly.
And this was, again, iPods were out, so you could have run with it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I like that time to be alone.
Yeah.
There's no phone.
Right.
No email, no computer.
Yeah.
No distraction.
Right.
You're completely by yourself and alone with your thoughts. And and the physical exhaustion
Right.
pulls you kind of out of your head. Have you ever noticed, they always say you should never make decisions when you're overly tired?
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite of that.
Got it.
When you're overly tired, your brain's shutting down and your cognitive functions aren't working.
Yeah.
When you're on a run or you're physically tired from an exercise or something like that,
Right.
then your brain is sort of really on top of things. You might feel tired physically.
Physically, but not
Right.
mentally.
It's not, but not mentally.
Yeah.
You're all of a sudden you're very clear-headed.
That makes sense.
Could be the
Your endorphins are
oxygen, the
kicking.
endorphins, the
Yep.
blood flow.
Yep. Peak state almost.
Yeah, it's peak state. And
Yeah.
Tony Robbins, and many coaches start there. They start with your physical body, putting your physical body into a state of conditioning.
Yeah.
And then you turn your brain on and start doing things and
Got
making
it.
decisions.
Got it.
And running used to do that for me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So people do, like I said, meditation, a walk in the park,
Yep.
listening to music, on their iPads if that helps.
Right.
Whatever it is to get you out of what your normal thought patterns
Yeah.
into a place where you can actually truly think about what you want to do.
Russell Brunson. Is that
Branson?
No. What's the guy that owns Virgin?
Branson.
Branson.
Yeah.
Branson. Yes. What's his first name? Is it Russell?
No.
Richard Branson.
Yes, Richard
I don't
Branson.
know where Russell Brunson came from.
I don't know. And I got Elon Musk in my head.
Okay. Yeah. Richard.
They're the same.
Yes. He says that he was interviewed and they said, "What's the one secret you could give to anybody who's out there trying to become successful?" Now, he's a billionaire. He owns Virgin Atlantic,
Right.
Virgin Records, and he says, "Start every morning with a workout." And
Absolutely.
get your body into peak state, get your mind refreshed, and of course you just woke up, so you're probably mentally rested now versus mentally tired at the end of the day. So it makes total sense. You're just now taking your body, waking it up, putting it into peak state
For the rest of the day.
for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Swimming. I found that swimming, and interestingly, Tony Robbins does an ice bath in the morning. He jumps into an ice pool.
Okay.
To wake him up.
Got it.
And I can vouch that when I get up and swim in the morning, as opposed to other workouts, any kind of workout I think is great in the morning.
Yeah.
But there's something about swimming in the cold, being in that cold water,
Yeah.
that really stimulates other parts of your brain
I
or
believe it.
physicality, and you get out of that pool in the water and then you shower and it's like you're just ready to go for the day.
You're wide awake.
Yeah, you're wide awake.
Yeah,
Even in
yeah.
the dead of winter, it's like
Yeah.
I have the whole day to do anything I want. And
Right.
you're just so excited. So yeah, jump in a cold pool, jump in a cold bath, go work out. It's something to jar your body and get it into a state where it's ready to actually start thinking and working.
Beautiful, beautiful. It reminds me, you said you got to pick the right goal earlier, and that reminds me, I saw a speech with Steve Jobs, obviously the owner of Apple. Former Apple owner. And basically, they had asked him kind of the same question, like, what are your keys to success? What can you pass on to people? And he says, you've got to pursue what it is that you love. Because if you don't love it, there's going to be so many times where you're going to struggle in a business, and because it's so difficult, you're going to want to quit because you're sane. You're a sane person. Sane people will quit things that bring them misery. Nobody wants to pursue past misery. He goes, but if you absolutely love it, then all of a sudden somehow you can be insane and pursue through misery because the end goal is you're so passionate about and loving it. You love it. And it was such good advice. I mean, I'm literally going to teach. I have a 4-year-old son who London, and
cute kid.
yes, thank you. And that's going to be advice that I'm going to share with him. So many times I'll talk to people, or I'll talk to young kids that are getting out of college or in high school, and what do you want to do? And you'll hear them oftentimes amongst each other say, gosh, what should we do? What makes money, right? That's the question almost every college student comes out of college. Maybe a lot of them know what they want to pursue, but the question they're building their decision on is like, what makes money? Nobody wants to go and say, what doesn't make money? Let's go pursue that, right? But the pursuing of what makes money, and I've been guilty of this, which is why I'm going to teach my son this lesson, is I've pursued companies, like startup companies. We started it up, and we did okay, but it was absolutely miserable. And because I'm sane, and it was so miserable, we quit. We shut down the doors. We had it open for 18 months and said, "This is horrible." Like this bit, we basically got into judgment collections. Because there's $2 trillion of uncollected judgments and lawsuits in America. So we started going after those, putting liens on homes and being able to help these people that never got paid their claim. We were assisting them in this. Awful. Yeah, it made money. It was awful.
Not what you wanted to do.
Not what I wanted to do. I did not want to be on a phone, calling people saying, hi, we've just been hired to come after you. I'm a debt collector. We're going to put a lien on your house because you never paid that debt in a lawsuit that you lost 7 years ago, 6 years ago. And so what makes money is terrible as a whole, in my opinion, to pursue. You've got to find something that you absolutely love. And if you love it, hopefully it makes money. But if it doesn't, you're still going to be happy because you love it. So picking the right goal, I thought you just said, when you said that earlier, resonated with me so well.
Right. And if it's something you're constantly putting off, you don't want to do it.
Right.
It's that simple.
Exactly.
I mean, if you can find any excuse not to go to the gym, then the gym's not for you.
Right.
Try another goal.
Exactly.
And maybe go out and run, or pick up swimming, or aerobic. Figure out something else to do, because obviously the gym isn't working for you.
Right. Hiking.
That I don't know.
Good workout, and you get to see beautiful things. It's actually fun.
It is.
I like hiking, where I don't really love lifting heavy things. Going to the gym isn't. I do it, but it's not the most fun.
I'm not a fan of the gym either. I'm an outdoor, if at all possible, kind of guy.
Right. Okay, so now let's talk about accountability, if you don't mind. There's a lot of accountability coaches out there that people can hire, which is basically a personal trainer, right? If you go to the gym and you take two people who have the same motivation to not be there, but they want to get fit. One hires a trainer that they're obligated to meet 3 mornings, at 6 a.m. 3 days a week, and the other one has no obligation because he didn't hire a trainer. The one who's paying somebody to show up is probably going to succeed. There's business accountability coaches out there as well. What do you personally do to stay accountable, or are you already just that self-driven?
I am pretty self-driven.
Okay.
So if there's a goal that I want, I almost always make sure I get it.
Okay.
So I am pretty self-motivated. I'm just one of those rare individuals that is. But I still have accountability partners.
Got it.
And I still have coaches, particularly in the business world. So yeah, I do have people, some are just friends like you. We've talked a little bit later about our yearly goal setting dinner at Christmas that we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pay professional coaches.
Nice.
As for accountability, and I get a lot of great information from the coaches.
Right.
There's still a lot of content that I'm learning, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what they're truly there for is to keep me on task.
Yeah.
To keep reminding me, especially when you got bigger goals that do take a long time to achieve.
Yes.
And you know that, and there's a lot of little steps in between. You do got to be on top of things. Like every week, if you want to build your business, I got to do the marketing every Monday or whatever.
So
I got to make so many phone calls every day. I've got to do the newsletter. I've got to do the flyer. I've got to put my stuff on Facebook. There's things that you've got to do to achieve that end result.
Right.
And it's easy to, especially, and many goals, you don't see changes. You don't see the results for a while.
Right.
And so you've got to find something to keep you motivated during that process, and having an accountability partner is a great way to stay on top of things.
I totally agree. Fitness is one of them. You don't see fitness overnight. The results of fitness.
I look at name me a professional athlete that doesn't have a coach.
Yeah, exactly.
They just don't,
it doesn't exist.
And people would look at you weird, you don't have a coach.
Right. Yeah. The best. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods.
Yeah. The best in business still have coaches.
Yep. Yep. I saw an interview with, it was either Al Pacino or Robert De Niro. I can't remember. They played the same character. but
they do.
Both of them are arguably two of the best in the industry of acting. And they still have a coach, an acting coach.
They still do.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, you have to have that coach. So I totally agree. Okay.
Yeah. And in every film they have a director.
That's right.
There's also other actors that they're interacting with that are forcing those roles.
Exactly.
Yeah, you surround yourself with people.
Yes.
That are helping you push yourself to your goals.
Absolutely. And you know what I love about what you just said is, what I realized is, you always hear people say, I'm going to refer to how you say they're surrounded by these people.
Right.
You always hear, show me who your 5 closest friends are, and I can tell you who you are. Or show me the wealth of your 5 closest friends that you hang out with, and I'll tell you what your wealth is, right? There's so much accuracy to that. And one of the reasons why I truly believe, they always say the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, is because it's what they surround themselves with to what they realize is normal. So kids that grow up with wealthy parents, from the time they're young, it's normal to be wealthy. They don't know how to be poor.
Right.
They don't know how to be financially unsuccessful, because they're always constantly seeing their successful parents out there financially succeeding, and that becomes the absolute norm. That's just normal, right? And then you take the vice versa, where kids who have parents that are struggling financially, they grow up seeing that as their normal. Right. And so they don't know how to do the other thing. It's interesting. They don't know how to become wealthy. The wealthy don't know how to become poor, because their brain thinks what they know, which is what is normal. Right. Which is why it's so critical. Tony Robbins says this all the time. Gary Vaynerchuk says this all the time. I'm not saying drop your 5 closest friends. I'm saying go find 5 new close friends that are successful, at least where you want to be.
Yeah, they are where you want to get to.
Right. And when you start hanging out with those people, the way they think will become the way you think as normal. And then you won't know how to think differently, because that's the normal way to think. That's why it's so critical when people say that. You hear people go, I'll never drop my 5 closest friends. Well, sure, you don't want to.
Right.
But they may be the reason that's holding you back.
They absolutely could be. And it is possible you should drop those friends.
Right.
And that's a hard choice for people.
It's a very hard choice.
If you're around someone who's not truly motivated for you to be your best, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
If let's say you want to get healthy,
exactly,
and you want to lose weight, you want to eat better and exercise more, but all of your friends and the people you hang out with just want to go to McDonald's and Taco Bell all day long and never hit the gym, and they don't care about those things.
Right.
They're not going to help you get to your goal. They're going to persuade you to join them.
Exactly.
And they may even mock you.
Yeah.
Why are you going to the gym?
Right.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Why are you eating that healthy food?
Right.
This hamburger's so good.
Exactly. So, and it is. That hamburger is so good.
It is. There's nothing wrong with eating at McDonald's or Taco Bell.
Sure.
But 3 meals a day, and your goal is to eat better, that's not how you're going to do it.
Exactly. I totally agree. And it can not only be friends, but sometimes it's family.
Family.
There's
And romantic partners.
yes. I belong to a real estate mastermind, and one of the individuals in the mastermind has had quite a bit of real estate success. He's very financially comfortable now, and there's jealousy amongst his siblings because they haven't been able to duplicate the financial wealth that he's duplicating.
Right.
I'll tell you who he is later. You know who he is. I'm not going to announce him on radio. And he was sharing how it's been tricky because family events where everyone's supposed to love each other on Thanksgiving, he's kind of getting the cold shoulder because he's now doing really well, and the other siblings aren't. And so it's the crab effect. They talk about you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and the one that's almost at the top, there's a crab underneath it pulling it back down, right? And so the wrong 5 friends can bring you down versus lift you up.
Right.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about setting game plans, because if you don't have a roadmap of where you're going, it's very difficult to get where you want to go. So we're going to talk about that. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And we'll be right back. With smartphones and technology making life a little easier, the Snap Leash has also been designed to make life a little easier for you and your pup. Whether you're out on a stroll, in the park, or possibly a walk through the city, or maybe even a hike up in the mountains, the Snap Leash is the perfect leash for you. The Snap Leash can easily and conveniently convert into 7 types of leashes, making the Snap Leash the most convenient leash in the world. What other leash do you know that is 7 leashes in one? With the Snap Leash having appearances on the Today Show in New York City, TV 47 in Dallas, Texas, and ABC 4 on Midday, Utah, you are definitely going to want to take a peek at what the Snap Leash can do for you and your best friend. Make life a little easier for you and your pup, and visit www.snapleash.com today. All right, we are back. This is K-Talk Radio. You're listening to 1640 AM. This is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. I'm your host, Yoshi Shiraki, and we have our very special guest, Jeff Braylio, who's here with us. We're talking about talking about crushing your goals. So many people set these goals, but then they fall off and don't execute on them. I heard a recording, I think it was from the 1950s. Earl Nightingale, old radio personality, had said, if you don't have a plan to get to a destination, you're never going to get there.
Right.
And he said, think about this. He goes, every ship, every battleship, every cruise ship, unless a tragedy happens, when the captain leaves the dock, they always get to where they're going because they know where they want to go, and there's a road map in front of them to get there. He says, if you took that same boat and took everybody off the boat and just pushed it off the dock, most likely it won't get very far. Maybe not even past the harbor before it crashes into something, because now it has no destination. You have to know where you want to go to get there.
Right.
And I love sharing this example. I always talk about pursuing a goal without a roadmap or a coach or a mentor who's done this before. It's very, very difficult. Possible, sure, but very, very difficult. And the example I'd like to give is, let's just say, Jeff, you were in Toronto, Canada. Okay? And I said, Jeff, I want you to drive to Panama City, but you cannot use Siri, Alexa, Google Maps. You can't even use a paper map. I just want you to get in your car in Toronto, and I want you to drive to Panama City. Okay? So listen to how, which is possible, right? But this is the point here. So you're going to get in your car, you're going to drive through, you're starting to Toronto, Canada, and as you enter the United States, the very first state that you should, according to Google Maps, because I Google mapped it.
Okay.
I used a map to prove this point. The very first state, for a lot of you who are listening, you probably have no idea, but it's Michigan, right? So you're going to come from Toronto, Canada, and you're going to enter the U.S. in the state of Michigan. You'll have probably driven 4 or 5 hours, you're going to get ready to fill up your tank, you're going to go to the gas station, put more gas in your car. You'll go to the gas station attendant and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to get to Panama City, Mr. Michigan gas station man. Am I headed in the right direction? And he's going to tell you, I think if you take that freeway, you should be good. Long and behold, 4 hours later, you fill up at gas again in some random town, and he tells you, oh, no, you took the wrong freeway. Go back 4 hours and take that freeway. This is what it's like when people ask for advice from their friends or family to achieve a goal that their friends or family haven't achieved either.
Yeah.
Right? You get a lot of bad advice.
A lot of bad advice.
Yes. So from Michigan, then you'll go to Indiana. Now, I'm not even talking about the cities. We're going state to state, right? So think about you're in Michigan, and now you got to figure out how to get to Michigan. But the next state is Indiana. From Indiana to Illinois. From Illinois, you'll then drive through Missouri. From Missouri, it's Arkansas. Arkansas, it's Texas. Okay, once you hit Texas, then you'll leave the United States and you'll get into Mexico. Now, I'm not even talking about states anymore. We're going to go strictly countries. But somehow from Mexico, without a map, to hit your goal, you're going to have to figure out how to get to Guatemala. From Guatemala, all the states in Mexico and cities, you're going to somehow end up in Guatemala. From Guatemala, it's Honduras. From Honduras, it's El Salvador. From El Salvador, it's Nicaragua. From Nicaragua, it's Costa Rica. From Costa Rica, it's Panama. And then once you are in the country of Panama, now you have to figure out how to get to Panama City. And let's say I gave you an exact address of where I'm staying. Now you got to find, in a country that doesn't even speak English, how to get to this 1234 House Street in Panama City. Possible, but can you imagine how difficult that would be?
The time wasted.
The time wasted, the money on gas wasted that you can
turn
turn
the wrong directions.
Yep. Food that you have to buy for the 3 days you went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Hotels for 3 extra nights or whatever.
Right.
So unless you have a roadmap that tells you exactly how to get there, or a coach, in the case that someone who does this drive regularly and says, yeah, we're going to take this road, I do it all the time. And somebody who's done it before, it's why, in my opinion, people fail at their goals so much. Because they don't have a map and they don't have a mentor or a coach, right? They just set out to do something without knowing how to do it. They ask their friends and family for advice who also don't know how to do it. And then they see very little production and success, so then they drop to failure.
Right.
Right? So, do you put together, you had mentioned this earlier, just for the listeners out there, Jeff, my guest.
That me?
Yes. We have a friend named Riley Rogers who is in apartment development. Jordan Akin, who is also in apartment multifamily development. And Tyler Tolbert, who is a multifamily investor. And then Jeff, of course, and then myself. We meet every December, around Christmas.
Yep.
And we have a New Year's resolution goal-setting dinner. And we hold each other accountable till the following year. We've done this for 8 years now consistently. And we'll share with one another what our goals are for the following year, and then we keep up with each other to see how everyone's doing, and if anyone needs help, we're happy to help. Do you typically, you mentioned earlier you use coaches, a lot of coaches. Do you use road maps or anything like that to kind of help you achieve goals? Like for instance, running a marathon, you have a map that says run 3 miles today, tomorrow 6.
Yeah, you just kind of use running as an example.
Yep.
When I first decided, I ran that first half marathon, and then I just started running on my own.
Yeah.
Just building mileage, talking to other runners, jumping in races. And then a few years later, I actually joined a team.
Awesome.
A racing team. And I started practicing and running about 3 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week, with the same set of guys.
Okay.
Who were experienced marathoners, experienced competitors, highly capable, very knowledgeable. I was the slowest runner of the group. And there's a little bit of intimidation.
Sure.
Right? But these guys were doing things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to where they were. I wanted to run as fast as they did.
Yep.
And I knew there was no way for me to run that fast unless I trained with people who were already doing it.
Right.
And as soon as I started running with those guys, everything changed. Everything changed.
Right.
Times were dropping. I started placing better and feeling better and running faster. And I would work with them to create my roadmap of how many miles, what kind of workouts, how, when in the day I would do it,
Right.
how I would supplement my food intake for the extra miles and everything like that.
Right.
So yeah, to get those goals was a huge roadmap.
Yep.
Almost always relying on people who were more experienced,
Yes.
who could tell me what they did to get there.
Right.
And then being part of that team that kept me accountable. So Saturday mornings,
Yeah.
4:30 a.m., 12 months a year, even when it was 9 degrees outside,
Oh, geez.
we either met to race or met to train.
Got
every
it.
Saturday morning for years.
Wow.
And I enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
again, that's great.
Yeah.
Brought me a lot of fulfillment, loved doing it, found people who were better, and things worked really, really well.
That's awesome.
And I apply the same things in business and real estate. You've got to find your why, find that true achievement that you really, really desire and want.
Yeah.
It's going to motivate you, and then you've got to sit down and plan out all the little steps
Right.
to get to your final achievement. And that's, people set that end goal as the goal.
Right.
But that's not, you can't set that as a goal.
Right.
Well, that's the goal, that's not the step. You've got to
Yeah.
then complete all the steps and set mini goals to get those little steps, and all those steps are going to get you to your main goal.
Right. That's huge. Because if you would have been the fastest of that group, you probably wouldn't have increased your speed.
Yeah, no.
You have
I
to-
would have been helping others,
Yeah.
and that's what coaches do.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But at that time, I needed a coach.
You
I
wanted
needed
to go
people.
where they were.
That's right.
Yeah. So that became the norm to see this
right.
group run this fast. That became the norm.
Yeah, it was like when I did the first half, I'm like, I just ran 13 miles.
Yeah.
And I'm fine.
Yeah.
I didn't die.
Yeah.
And then you go with these guys, and suddenly I'm doing mile sprints
Right.
at 4.5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And I never thought I'd run under a 5-minute mile. And
Oh
then
my
my
gosh.
my marathon mile pace came down.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's those little mental achievements. But if you set that big goal, you're not going to get it right off.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be disappointed.
Right.
But you set those little goals, those steps
Yes.
in the process to get your final achievement. Then you get lots of little successes.
Exactly.
And you get more excited.
You stay
and
motivated.
You stay motivated, and you're much more likely to hit the end goal.
I love it. What was your, just out of curiosity, marathon mile time? Like
My
each
pace?
one? Yeah, your pace.
My best marathon pace in an official race was
Yeah.
five. It was under a 6-minute pace.
Holy cow! So I've ran one marathon. I did the New York Marathon, and I did it in a 12-minute pace. So yeah, you were half. You got done half.
Yes.
Sooner than half.
You were halfway done when I was.
Exactly. You finished. You were by the time
I was
you
getting
ran.
a massage.
Exactly. You were eating dinner. By the time
Yeah, I
we
was
ran.
probably. Yeah, I was already out at Wendy's getting hamburger.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh gosh. Okay. Very cool. So you have to kind of let the listeners know a little bit about your real estate experience. You've flipped houses. You have rental properties. You've done landlording. You're a hard money lender. You're a real estate attorney.
Yep.
But something that I'm excited about that's newer that you and I have a side partnering thing is you've now started an education program as a coach, hypothetically, of
Yep.
people that need to know the legal aspects of real estate investing. Can you tell us a little bit about REIU?
Yeah, that's REI Mastery U.
Okay.
The letter U. And it is...
Which means university.
Which stands for university,
Yeah.
but you can't use that
Right.
word.
Exactly.
The word university is a regulated term.
Yes.
So they would not let me use the word university, but they can't regulate a letter.
Got it. Okay.
But I think it's truly the nation's premier online real estate investing educational program.
I do too.
There's a ton of education out there. I've been through most of it,
Yeah.
and I know who most of those guys are. And it's just and it's not necessarily the content. It's just an old school way of delivering it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to essentially jump into the 21st century, digitize it, make it all online, make it super simple, and make it more like a school program, a university school program.
Right.
So it's not just showing up at
Yeah.
some event, listening to a speaker, and hoping to learn.
And basically getting information like a fire hose.
Like a fire hose,
You're like, "Oh,
pushed into your face,
Yeah.
and you walk out of there, and you only retained about 10% of it.
Right.
And you're probably not going to implement any of it.
Exactly.
So our programs, they start very simple with the basics, and there's an intermediate program and a mastery program. So kind of like getting your associate's and bachelor's and a master's degree.
Yeah.
And there are video education, there are textbooks, there are exams. They're easy and the answers are there.
Yeah.
And explain why answers are wrong. And so it's actually a way to learn real estate as opposed to just being inundated with information that's not going to stick around. And because it's online, you can always go back to it.
Right. I love that.
And refer to it.
Exactly.
So it's always there as your kind of personal coach. And then, of course, I do personal coaching as well on top of that.
Absolutely. And what I love about having a personal coach who's also an attorney is you get to ask the legal questions is like, okay, I'm doing this creative financing strategy and we're doing this and we're doing this. Jeff, is that even legal?
Yeah. Am I going to get into trouble?
Right, exactly.
Right.
And so not only are you getting this education from REI Mastery U, but you're getting it from an attorney, because like a lot of the education out there, not to saying it's not good, because there's a lot that is good, but they're from a standpoint of an investor who doesn't know law. And law, the legal aspect, oh my gosh, it's huge in real estate.
Huge in real estate.
So much
and
of
it's
it's
not
contracts.
something that people focus on.
Right.
And they should focus more on it.
I totally agree. So how long is the program? Like if someone was to like, I'm going to dedicate my time. Sure, they could take forever, but if somebody wanted to like realistically get through it, I don't know, a couple hours a night of studying, how long do you think it would take?
See, the rookie program, which is what we call it, is about 5 hours of video education.
Oh, okay.
And that you can get for as little as $99.
Easy, yeah.
Easy. The professional investor program is an additional about 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours of education.
Okay.
And then in our mastery program, that I do subject by subject. So if you want to be a master in creative financing, a master in self-direction, a master in partnering deals, these sort of things, then those are sort of add-ons to the others, and you can buy them a la carte.
Yes, and that's huge because I've seen so many partnerships go south. Everything's great until the money starts to
Come
disappear.
In.
Yeah,
or go out.
Or go out.
One way or the
Exactly.
other. When it comes to money, all bets are off.
Yes, and all this verbal agreement that they thought they had with a shake of a hand, maybe even a contract that wasn't in detail. People will put things on writing, but they don't put everything in writing, and then a certain scenario happens that they didn't know what they didn't know to predict that this could happen.
Right.
That's what's so great about bouncing off to stuff to an attorney, because you've seen probably hypothetically you've seen probably anything that could happen bad, right? So I know we've had conversations where I'm talking to you about structuring a contract, and you're like, well, have you thought about this? I'm like, no, I haven't. Well, what should I write now?
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's what's so beautiful about your education, in my personal opinion. And you and I, we've teamed up on a side hustle where we now have a podcast called Deals A to Z.
Yes.
And what's
We're really excited about.
Yes. And for those of you who are interested, if you've ever thought about getting involved in flipping, we interview a bunch of a lot of them are friends, basically, that also fix and flip houses like us. And they come in and they talk about a deal from literally A to Z, how they found it, how they funded it, how they funded the renovations, what did they have to do to the renovations, what did that do to increase the value, what did they sell it for,
how they sold it.
How they sold it, exactly. The marketing that they implemented. And so if you've ever thought about like what goes into a deal, this is going to be in my personal opinion, a really cool podcast.
It's going to be a great podcast.
It's going to be a great podcast, which a lot of, when you hear these people on, let's say hypothetically, there's a lot of information on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and know how to flip a house. And most of what you're going to be shared with is, the good stuff, but not necessarily the bad stuff, right? And so that's what's so great about these interviews is we're digging out from these Everything, yeah.
These aren't necessarily successful projects where they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
These are projects where they learned things.
Right.
And you can learn from others' mistakes. And and the nice thing about the real estate world is really no one's shy about telling others about their mistakes.
That's right.
It's like the one world where everyone's like, I screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And I lost money. Here's why.
Oh yeah.
And now you can avoid the same mistake.
Yes.
And we're really good about that. And the guests that we had on the show were really open and honest and able to talk about truly the things that either made the deal or what they learned from the deal.
Exactly. Yeah, for me, obviously, the houses I lost money on were the ones that I learned the most.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, those are lessons I'll
I have
never
all the time.
forget.
Yeah, we lost $5,000. I'm like, yeah, but what did you learn? He's like, that's the best $5,000 you ever spent.
Yeah, exactly. I had a mentor that says, he was an educator. He says, no matter how good of an educator I am, there's no better teacher than experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is what investors really need to do.
Yeah.
It's at the very beginning of the show, we said so many set the goals, and a year and a half later, they still haven't even done a flip project yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's an accountability problem.
Right, exactly. Not having that accountability partner,
right,
or not being highly self-motivated, which I want to dissect into more. You said you're a highly self-motivated individual. Mm-hmm. I kind of consider myself a highly self-motivated person too. I want to dive into that. Before we do, we're going to jump to commercial, but I want to hear your secrets on how you stay self-motivated. So stay tuned, and we're going to take a commercial break right now. Hi, I'm Yoshi Shiraki, the author of the book, My Body's Just For Me, the book written for children to educate children on the prevention of child abuse. With the assistance of multiple best-selling author Richard Paul Evans, we were able to publish this book as a tool to help break the ice in an easy and innocent way to help children understand and learn how to speak up and communicate. I've been invited numerous times on a Good Things Utah to discuss the importance of good communication with your child in regards to abuse, and also to discuss how the book, My Body's Just For Me, is a great tool for every parent when having that tricky conversation with their children. For more information on the book, My Body's Just For Me, please visit www.protectourage.com. warangels.com today. And remember, the more we focus on prevention, the less we'll have to focus on rehabilitation. All right, guys, we are back. This is K-Talk Radio, 1640 AM. I am your host, Yoshi Shiraki. This is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. Got our special guest here, Jeff Brailio. If you're just tuning in, Jeff is a highly successful real estate investor as well as a real estate attorney. Happens to be a good friend of mine. We've traveled. We went to Costa Rica together.
We do.
Yeah. I feel like we've been other places too.
I'm sure we have.
Yeah, Vegas, whatever.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah. So, I'm very privileged to have him on as a guest on the show today to share about how he stays able to continually crush the goals that he sets each and every year. So, there's some people out there who are highly motivated. There's some people that are not so motivated and they need motivation, which is why music is so popular in the gym, because people need that motivation through music in many cases. Talk about how you're more self-motivated, but did that start from the beginning? Does it take something that you have to continually work on? Is it just like you were born that way? Like Usain Bolt was already born fast? Sure, he got faster as he trained, but you know, I would never beat him in a race no matter how hard I trained.
Oh, you could beat me today.
Yeah.
I'm injured.
Okay.
Staying motivated. I think it's a combination of things.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone is born motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I think they learn how motivation works, and they feel the results due to experiences. So I think those that are lucky. Maybe someone said, maybe I set some goals and I just happen to achieve them.
Yeah.
Without really knowing why. But then those little experiences of achieving a goal and feeling the satisfaction of seeing the result just taught me that if you stick with something, you're going to get it.
Right.
And it pretty much always has.
Right.
I've written 3 novels.
That's right.
I know, which we haven't even talked about.
that. Yeah.
Marathons, triathlons, Ironman, 3 novels. And I play the piano.
Oh, wow.
So, then that's when you're thinking, how do I motivate myself? I grew up played through college.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I set other goals.
Yeah.
Running and work and business goals. And I really wanted to get back to playing the piano.
Oh, okay.
And so I made a very large investment. And this was a financial investment.
Okay.
I bought a baby grand Yamaha player piano.
Oh, nice.
Yes, which is a pricey purchase.
Yes.
But it's something I've always wanted.
Yep.
It's been a goal to own for probably 40 years, since I was
Wow.
a little kid.
Wow.
Probably at least since the 80s, when they first kind of came out with this player piano that you can actually play that also plays itself.
Oh, very nice.
And so I finally, had the funds and the financial ability to do it.
Yeah.
But I could have spent that money any number of ways, vacations
Right.
and whatnot. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this baby grand piano. It's gonna sit in my house, and I know in the back of my mind what the price tag was.
Yeah.
And that can be a motivator.
Right.
So putting your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Sometimes, if you want to work out, go pay for a gym membership.
Yeah.
Even better, pay for a trainer.
Yeah.
If you put the money in, that's a motivation. That can motivate people.
Right.
Other times with my business stuff, my motivation comes from vision boards.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of vision boarding.
Oh, nice. Me too.
So I've always had pictures of things of what I want to achieve. And what those vision boards really do, there's no magic to them.
Yeah.
All it's doing is it's
Reminding me.
it's a reminder. You just,
Yeah.
if you see it every day, you're
Yeah.
constantly writing about your goals.
Yeah.
If you have a coach,
Yeah.
whether it's a business coach, an athletic coach, a personal training coach,
Yeah.
there's always somebody reminding you that you have a goal.
Yeah.
And that you're supposed to be doing things. And nobody wants to go to their coach and say, "Hey, I didn't practice this week."
Yes.
Right? Because
Yes.
you feel bad. There's the sort of the guilt factor.
Right.
So money can be a motivator. Guilt can be. I don't know if there's necessarily the best motivators.
Sure.
But for many people, that is what motivates them.
Yeah.
I have found though that those might be triggers for me,
Right.
and they're what usually get me off my butt.
Got it.
That first getting up out of the chair, first step kind of thing.
Right.
After that, if I've set the right goal, I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm starting to feel the satisfaction. So now that I'm playing the piano again, I'm feeling the joys that I used to feel
Right.
playing the piano, and that's what's going to keep me going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you set those goals that we set at the very beginning to bring it back around,
Yeah.
if the goals aren't what you really want,
Yeah.
you're not going to feel any satisfaction in the process,
Right.
and you're not going to achieve your goals.
Right.
So you've set the wrong goals.
Exactly. And or you've got the wrong why. Like,
Or the wrong why.
just to get
Right.
skinny because you want to get skinny versus the guy who is about to die if he
Right.
doesn't get in shape
That's right.
because he's going to have a heart attack. His doctor
Right.
tells him you're not going to live.
Right, and you see his daughter's wedding.
Exactly.
And that's a huge motivating factor.
Exactly. Yeah, for me.
There's an emotional connection. If there's no emotional connection, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And if you just say, hey, I want to make $1 million, you're not going to make $1 million.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You know, if
Yep.
it's to have a lifestyle where you can travel because you love to travel and just that's your most exciting thing is to go to foreign countries and see
Yeah.
foreign countries, you're going to need some funds to do that.
Right.
Right? And
Right.
so that's the goal, is to live a certain lifestyle or be a certain way or feel a certain thing.
Yeah.
And then the other goals, those steps, those processes, those tasks aren't as bad.
Exactly.
Because you know what you're getting towards.
Right. Yep. We have a friend, Matt Atkinson,
Uh-huh.
who is all about lifestyle. You know,
Yeah.
he's highly motivated to work hard because when he travels, he doesn't just want to travel; he wants to travel luxuriously. Right? He likes the finer things, and he's always telling me it's all about the lifestyle. So again, it's a knowing exactly why, just not the money, but
Right.
the things that he can do with the money is what's benefit. One of the things that keeps me motivated is I'm addicted to greatness, meaning I'm obviously always constantly pursuing greatness, but my favorite thing to watch on television is the most highest level competitive sports. So probably the Summer Olympics is probably the
Yeah.
thing that I like. I'm
I
so
love the
sad
Summer
it's only
Olympics.
4 years.
I
Every
know.
4 years. Once,
Yeah.
once every 4 years. But for 2 weeks, I'm glued to that TV because we are truly watching the greatest athletes in the entire world at a specific sport do something.
Right.
Better than any human on earth,
Yep.
right? And I'm addicted to that greatness. That's what keeps me motivated, is watching greatness. I love sports. I don't really like watching, though, the, early season NBA game, but I'll watch the NBA finals because
Right.
now you've narrowed it down to the two best teams. Or I don't really watch the football season until it's the Super Bowl. I realize there's great players in the NFL, but for me, I'm more addicted to the greatest game, which is the last game, hypothetically, right? And by watching these events, it keeps me more motivated to, want to be great as well. Like
Yeah.
I'd love to be an NFL superstar or a superstar. I was an amateur boxer for years and never returned to pro, but those types of things for me are what tend to keep me more motivated just in a general playing field. But like you said, I love working the little steps to my goals because each little step that you get is a success. And with each success, obviously keeps you motivated to keep going.
Right.
Right. And so sometimes if you just have one, and that reminds me that it's so important to work backwards from a goal, right? So sometimes some goals you can put a timeline on.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you can put a timeline on and say, I want to do this by 12 months, then you now know how to work backwards from today to 12 to know how much activity you need to do every single day. So for example, in real estate, let's just say for every, I don't know what the ratio is exactly. Most of the deals that I get are not on the MLS. Most of them are off the MLS through off-market properties. So I write a lot less offers before I buy a house than a lot of investors that kind of do the MLS thing. But I heard a stat or a ratio that's kind of floating out there in the real estate investing associations that people who are submitting offers on the MLS will typically submit anywhere from about 10 to 20 offers before one gets accepted at a price that they need so they can go in, fix it up, and flip it. Right?
And I'd say those are pretty good numbers.
Yeah. So let's just say hypothetically, let's call it 20. So if you wanted to flip, let's say 4 houses by the end of this year,
Right.
that means you're going to have to write approximately 80 offers.
Yep.
Right? And so if you wanted to break it up, okay, 80 offers, and if I want to get through this, that means you have to buy your last house in September so you can flip it in that year. Then you're going to work backwards from September. Okay, how many offers do I need to write a day or a week or to basically make sure I get my 80 offers in so that I buy those 4 houses, right? And so working backwards, giving you these little goals along the way keeps you motivated as you hit each goal, right?
Yep.
the baby steps, basically.
Yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
what do you need to do to write 20 offers?
exactly.
Well, you're gonna have to get off your butt,
Yeah.
go to the computer,
Yep.
and start researching if that's the MLS, and start scrolling through all the listings,
Exactly.
just to be able to find 20 to make an offer on.
Yep. Which is not terribly difficult, with the search, the way the MLS has it. People can go in there and put keyword searches like tender loving cares, TLC, or handyman special, or
Right.
investor special. And you'll find the 20 that you're probably going to be able to submit offers on and get that one accepted.
Right.
But then when you buy that first house, you feel like you've accomplished something, so it keeps you motivated to keep going.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, once you've got that house, you can't sit back and stop making offers again.
Exactly.
Because if you wait until you're done with that first project and you want to do 4 a year,
Yep.
you're going to be 6 months out, and now you got 3 more to do in the last 6 months of the year.
Exactly.
So you've got to plan your goals and your time and the tasks
Yep.
associated with your end goal to almost work concurrently.
Right, exactly.
And that takes planning and as well as motivation.
Absolutely. And probably easier to relate to in the athletic world. Like, let's say you have a marathon
Right.
in 6 months. You now know how many miles you need to get in the next 6 months to be able to comfortably finish that marathon. How many miles now do you need to run each day, each week? You work backwards, and it becomes a little bit more obtainable versus kind of procrastination.
Right,
which
thinking,
is,
I have to run 26 miles, but no, this week you just got to run 15 miles this week.
Right, exactly.
Next week you'll run 18 miles.
Right,
Start small and build.
exactly. Okay.
And build the success. And I think most people who are successful,
Mm-hmm.
they're addicted to the achievement,
Yeah.
not their actual result.
Right.
Athletes, I just ran faster than any human on earth,
Yeah.
kind of thing. That's what they're seeking. It's that emotional
Yeah.
power that comes from the achievement of completing the goal that you had set for yourself.
Right.
Right? It might bring money, it
Right.
might bring fame. That doesn't motivate the top
Exactly.
achievers.
Exactly.
It's the achievement itself that
Yep.
brings them so much satisfaction. And because it's the achievement, they're going to go do another thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And because they want that rush of achieving things.
Right.
And that's what motivates. That's exciting.
I agree. Okay, perfect. How can people find REI Mastery U without Googling it?
Yep. www.REI Mastery letter U. Just the
Perfect.
letter U. Yep. MasteryU.com.
Awesome. And it's
Easy
brand
enough.
new, right? It's
The website almost a year actually.
Okay.
The website launched in June
Okay.
of 2019. We launched the website, but most of the programs either online currently. With the last few will be coming online in the next couple months.
perfect. And if somebody wanted to get in touch with you at your
At the
firm,
office, the law office, 801-560-2180.
Wonderful. All right, everybody. Well, this is K-Talk Radio 1640 AM. This is the show Utah Home Sweet Home. I am your host, Yoshi Shiraki. If you've missed any part of the show and you wanted to, or any show in general, we actually capture this in a podcast format. We also videotape the segment, the show. So if you wanted to watch it, you can go to our website, which is www.utahhomesweethome.com. On there's social media links. You can click on the Facebook or the YouTube. Primarily, YouTube will have all of our videos, but Facebook has a lot of them as well, just depending on the platform you prefer to visit. But if you go to Facebook or YouTube, we invite guests every single week coming in here talking about their achievements, how they do stuff. These are all high achievers that come onto the show in the real estate industry. We have had a couple people come in that were high achievers in entrepreneurial in general, but for the most part, most of the people come in are related to real estate, whether they're fix and flippers, apartment developers, self-storage developers, spec home developers, wholesalers, an array of different people that will come in and share. So if you've ever thought about getting involved in the real estate industry, definitely check out our social media, but also check out reimasteryu.com because there's
Or
going
on
to be
Facebook.
Or on
Yeah,
Facebook.
because everyone's on Facebook now. Yeah, there's an REI Mastery U Facebook page.
Perfect.
Probably easier than even going to the web.
There you go. And lots of great content, lots of free great content.
There's
too.
tons of free content on there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's you can spend hours and hours and hours on free real estate and asset protection content.
Yes, which is not normal with attorneys. Attorneys are expensive.
There's a lot of stuff I give away for free.
Yes. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a spectacular rest of the day. Jeff, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you, Yoshi.
All right. And everybody, enjoy the rest of the day.